to freshmen, and we'll get the chance to enjoy it all right here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, as BYU takes the field for the first time, and they do so behind Kate Daly. A bit of a challenging start against Winthrop. Still looking to settle in to this 2025 calendar, but an experienced player, even as a sophomore, threw about 90 innings pitched as a true freshman for BYU. So still tremendous opportunity for her, and she'll look to try and navigate it early on here in Puerto Vallarta. A reminder that sports are better on the big screen. Head to your preferred device app store to download the all-new Flow Sports TV apps for Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, and Chromecast. Set your favorites, search our library of live and on-demand content, and so much more. Download today. You can watch all of Session 1 on demand, and of course, all of Session 2 right here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Just the one game today. We kind of got a little appetizer for you before we get it going. Tomorrow, it is 4 games. And then we take off from there. 4, 5, and 4 to wrap it up. And then just a few days off, and you're going to want to come right back here to Flow College as we begin the out-of-conference Super Bowl in the sport of softball out in Cathedral City. But that's still a few days away. For now, we lock in on BYU, who will be playing in that Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic, and the Bison of NDSU, our first game of the day, and only game of the day, as Star Cortez lead things off for North Dakota State. Daly's first pitch of Session 2, fired in for a strike.
And from Daly, you're going to see a lot of balls that drop off, a lot of drop balls low in the zone. She's going to work and attack ahead. That is what Coach talked about, what we saw from her last weekend. She wants to get ahead. She wants to be able to go at these hitters.
And sure enough, it's in the dirt, but it sneaks by. Morrow still settling in, was played in a little bit because of the speed of Cortez, and it's a leadoff base runner for the Bison.
This one just late on it, and you could see it was just a ball that she thought was going to come up, bounce up on her, but Morrow, she's not able to make that play, and Bison taking advantage of early mistakes. We saw that in Session 1. Use errors, the sun balls, the ground balls. Being able to have clean defense is going to be key, not just today, but throughout the rest of the tournament.
And so some quick words of wisdom, again, wanting to avoid the tougher start that Daly had against Winthrop. So just, hey, put it behind you, especially for Morrow, because Coach Eakin was telling us it's the first thing he talked about when you were asking for, hey, who's the grinder on this team? He quickly said Morrow. They moved her to catcher a couple years ago. She hadn't caught a single inning. Now she slides over to shortstop, the two most challenging defensive positions in the sport of softball, and Morrow's being asked to play them both in short order. On to my Hunter. She will send it straight up and out of play. Belladine, the experienced Bison hitter, on deck for NDSU. Cyan King, Delatore, Woldruff, Claus, Nieto, the remainder of the opening 9 for Darren Mueller in North Dakota State. Puts it in play, right on it. This time is Morrow. Turlington's turn in time. That's how you erase an error.
Well, that's how you erase an error, just like you said right there, Corey. It's almost the exact same. This one a little bit more of a hop, but knowing that you have speed, not just on first, but at the plate, you're gonna have to make that transition quick. Not only throwing it over to second, but going second to first. Great defense there by Cougars to erase those base runners.
And Haley immediately shows why Coach Eakin wanted to move her right back to the infield. Coming out from behind the plate, handling the mean shortstop. Belladine, first pitch swinging. Morrow called on again, and it squirts away. Boy, the game will find you, Nicole, when you're playing a different position, still settling in. The sport will challenge you.
Yeah, and you talk about the transition. You're a middle infielder. Your coach comes up to you and says, hey, this year, because of injuries, because of reasons, we need you to get behind the plate and we need you to become a catcher. And it was rough at first, but coach talked about how she became one of his best catchers. And it was really only due to Alina Bayani transferring to Oklahoma, their starting shortstop last year, that they had to fill that vacated spot. And coach goes to her and says, hey, how do you feel about going back to shortstop? And she goes, you're kidding.
To right, and Lambert makes the play, so no harm comes of it. Cougars settle in, a couple of base runners for the Bison, all it amounts to. And now one of the best attacks in college softball is coming up next.
It's the 1-0 the Cougars. Coming to bat.
Games so far. Piper Reed entering with an ERA of 3.65, a record of 1-0 in her 7 2/3 innings pitched. Has already notched a strikeout. She looks to slow down this Cougar attack to begin their time in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Layout Bayani. Watches one drop out of the zone for ball one.
There's a lot of new faces in this BYU lineup, just losing some starters in that power lineup that BYU had last year to graduates and transfers. But coaches talked about how everyone 1 through 9, they have been able to be disciplined. They've been able to be solid. And that is what really makes it. Whenever you don't have a superstar, how solid can your 1 through 9 be? How linked up can you be? And he was saying that has been really great transition for this fall.
The wrong card in play for the Bison, so whatever pitch was called from the dugout was not the one that was relayed via PitchCom and to the rest of the infield. They might have had the Savvy Williams card, and instead they need the Piper Reed card. Always adjusting the nature of the modern technology. A reminder that college sports have a home on Flow College. Watch more than 12,000 college sporting events from 100 schools and 12 different conferences only on Flow College. Head to flowcollege.com today to see everything now. Helps to get that good look at the wristband, all the modern tech that goes into it. Now we're ready to go. Two teams that have done a phenomenal job in their conference. The Bison dominating the Summit League for a long time. Now looking to get right back to it. BYU, of course, changing conferences a few times, handling business. Now their biggest challenge yet, year 2 in a reworked Big 12.
No kidding on the reworked Big 12, but it is still as tough as ever. You add in a lot of new faces. That's what you've been seeing, not just with the Power 5 conferences, but all the conferences across the country. And Big 12 still is a force to be reckoned with. BYU, one of the top teams.
Agbayani and Hunta. Well played across the diamond. Yeah, it's interesting because I think any surface level softball fan who doesn't necessarily follow the sport be like, oh, the Big 12 is so much weaker because you lost 2 of the best schools in the sport, the Texas and OU, which is true. But the depth of the Big 12 has never been better. And if you want to talk about Arizona and Arizona State and the athletic pedigree that those 2 schools have, both have a phenomenal softball history. Haley Morrow to Claus, and 2 quick ones.
That's a little bit of the strategy that coach is talking about with North Dakota State, is being able to have quick at-bats. They know with their pitching staff, they're not necessarily a swing and miss strikeout pitching staff, but what they will do is be able to attack and get ahead early. They don't want to have long at-bats. They want to give something for their defense to work with.
We saw Piper here a couple years ago, and her best attribute was her control. That's only gotten better over time. Right now, she records 2 quick ones. Behind Owens, we'll see Brittingham, Milkowski, Kamoku, Turlington, Udawole, and Lambert, the opening 9 for BYU. Popped up again. Claus busy, but this time it's just a little run. She's out and right. Cortez and Nieto in center and left, respectively. The infield from left to right. Woldruff, Honta, Dean, and King. Reed and De La Torre, the pitcher and catcher battery.
I love the power that you see in Owens whenever she gets into her stance. She gets deep into those legs. As she loads, she even gets deeper. There's a lot of power to be had there whenever she makes contact.
Hit in each of the last couple games for Lily Owens. Steers that one perfectly. Phenomenal bat control. It's that half swing, but it's not a half result. Owens wants 3. Throw down to third, not in time. Lily Owens, her first triple.
Lily Owens does a check swing on this. Talk about, again, the power that she has. This one sent to the deepest part of right center. And for a moment, I thought she was going to go straight. Hesitated and still made it all the way to third. Talk about speed, talk about power. That is a triple threat, and that is what the Cougars have within this lineup. It is a complete 1 through 9.
I chop again. Hunter was on it, though, and makes the triple not matter. Lily Owens is a triple machine. She's had 2 in a game before. She has 1 here, but while both teams get some work on the base paths, we go to the second. Scoreless. Great range. In the very young 2025 campaign.
When you look at the body of work last inning, ground ball, fly out. 2 errors made by BYU last inning, but that is what you're going to see a lot of North Dakota State. They're going to have to make quick adjustments with this down ball in the zone, and I think as a team, you know that whenever you scout somebody, you find that out pretty early, but making that adjustment as early as possible. Yep, this is exactly what we scouted for. This is what our plan is. Let's stick to it and make those adjustments.
So Gordon Eakin came out for the exact same reason that I was just staring at my roster. Zoe King is listed as number 35. That is number 11 in the batter's box. There is not a number 11 on the NDSU roster. So I'm guessing that BYU will adjust, make sure they've got Zoe King's card in those wristbands as far as who to scout, how to pitch against. And we will settle in with Zoe King wearing number 11 today for NDSU instead of a regular 35.
Game 1 is always about getting settled in. Just both teams had to go through it, I guess.
Yep. You never know, too. Sometimes a jersey doesn't quite make its way from the U.S. to Mexico. So you have to change on the fly. It's been known to happen. It is an innocent mistake, and it is all good. So Zoe King wearing number 11 today. She holds up, takes ball 1.
Nothing wrong with a good number 11. That's Miles' number.
There you go.
Fondness for that. Double ones.
Double ones. There isn't a number 1 on the NDSU roster either, so there's potential. That's got to be pretty rare. I feel like that's one of those numbers everybody fights for. Well, number 1. Morrow has been so busy. She's up to it.
And such a quick release. You saw the bounce. It bounced early on, but right there, watch that transition so fast. That is what you want to see from Morrow. Great way to make a statement this second inning. Just a shake off of last inning is in the past. Here we are, we're moving forward. Anticipate we'll probably see a few more headed her way throughout this game.
Yeah. Bends away from Jessica De La Torre. De La Torre picking up the start. Game number 2. Now right back into that opening 9. Aaron Mueller told us he's going to be tinkering with this lineup all weekend long. I think that's probably true of every single coach. Looking to evaluate everything before conference play starts, especially against elite competition here in Puerto Vallarta.
Love that screwball and the location of that screwball going away, and then tight in.
De La Torre, good patience. Freshman's already come up big. Her first Bison hit was a pinch hit double. That was also a walk-off. Can't start it much better than that. Reaches out, puts it in the dirt. Dally in time.
That one, a little bit of close call right there from Dally. Just took a while. That ball, almost like a swinging bunt. Took a while to get that ball down there. Good hustle.
Chloe Woldruff wearing number 23 for the Bison. And watching one up top.
A lot of communication right now for BYU in this infield. You can see them talking to one another. They know they're going to get balls headed their way. Just making sure you know where your teammates are in their ranges.
A couple different numerical looks for the Bison green jerseys here in Puerto Vallarta. But so far, Dally's had the right answers. Woldruff the half swing. It was a couple years ago that Chloe got her first hit of the season early on against BYU. Not too many returners for both these teams, but a little bit of experience for NDSU and BYU right here at Nancy Almada Stadium.
Right. You always see it come full circle, though, don't you? Get your first hit, you You just always see them throughout the years.
Piper Reed threw an inning against BYU the last time she was here. Time ran out. That goes down as ball 4, and Woodruff reaches base.
That'll be the first one that we've seen here at Puerto Vallarta for the time clock. That's something that was implemented last year, being able to help speed up the game. And I have to say, I'm for the time clock.
Yep. Picked up in foul territory. I think some pitchers might disagree, but you obviously have the utility background that you do, and I, as just a fan of the game who enjoys pace of play, yeah, I think we're both going to agree it was a great ad.
Just missed that location. And I spoke on seeing a lot of drop balls, but I'm seeing a great combination of drop screw, occasionally lifting the batter's eye with a ball up in the zone. I love that mix of zones, the height difference of those zones as well.
Daly dodges the bat. Her first K today closes the frame. Bison have gotten base runners, but nothing to cross just yet. Daly looking good as advertised for BYU. Now they're going to come up to hit. Strikeouts. They can sure generate some momentum. Quick start for the Bison. They go right back to work. Piper Reed hoping to keep the Cougars exactly where they are. No runs on the board.
One thing I noticed about BYU, they are aggressive. They like to swing early on in counts. They want to make something happen, and that's what happens whenever you trust the person behind you in the lineup. You're content being able to go wherever the ball's taking you.
Drifting towards right, claw shading against the sun. It was probably out of range anyway.
That one, I think there might have been a chance to catch that one, but it always happens on this first game of the day. That sun in the stadium, brutal for that right side. We've seen multiple teams struggle with that lighting, especially as an outfielder. Whenever you're running from the sun into the shade, it can be difficult to track.
Kowski puts the charge into it. It sends it 4-3. A hit in each of the first 2 innings for the top 10 offense from a year ago. This time it's the newcomer, Kowski, on the board.
This one just not trying to do too much, wasn't fully in the legs, but the way her hands were able to work through that zone, not trying to go out and chase, but letting that outside pitch get deep, that supplied enough of that power. And I think that's one thing you'll see with BYU. These girls have the power. You're going to see them get balls through the infield where maybe they didn't get 100% of it, or they weren't 100% on time, but being able to supply that power behind those swings, that helps them a lot whenever it comes to the offense.
Maya Hernandez.
So 4 hits and 7 at-bats to start her career. For Lindy Milkowski, that is as good as it gets. Maya Hernandez running over at first base, and strike 1 in to Kayla Kamoku, another Puerto Vallarta veteran. She was last year with Ole Miss. Kamoku, straight pop, and it gets out of the glove of King. There is the Puerto Vallarta sun.
There it is, and defensively, this is a conversation you want to have. You can see her tracking it, and then last minute, right as it's falling into the glove, you could see the feet start to slow, a slight hesitation, indicator to me that she lost it in the sun. But I do think that conversation about the sun is something that both defenses should have in making a very tangible game plan. If it gets in the sun, then we do this. Being able to say it out loud will help immensely.
Kamoku chasing top shelf. Rise ball working for Piper Reed.
Nice pitch by Reed. She had been working an elevated outside pitch, but that one a little bit more of the plate. She knew if it's gonna be over the plate, we're gonna have to rise that out of the zone, because Kamoku, she has the power to supply, and you don't want her barrel touching that.
It's coming off a 6 RBI game against Winthrop, so no question about the run producing ability of Kayla Kamoku, but instead it's Piper's first K today, and the Cougs pass the baton to Turlington.
I actually like that take by Turlington. You could tell the way her body, the way her hips triggered, she was early on that pitch. She wasn't on time, and as much as you want to swing at that pitch as a hitter, if you're that early, that swing's only going to result in something you don't want.
And instead, she turns into something you do, driving it all the way to the fence. Tristan Turlington gets the wide turn from Hernandez. She scores. Opening lead of session 2 belongs to BYU.
I love this low and in, and just the rotation was so clean there from Turlington, deep in the gap, and that's one thing that we've seen from BYU already. There is a lot of speed whenever it comes to this lineup, and they are not afraid to be aggressive, go after the extra base. If you're a defense, you have to be looking ahead. You can't be thinking, oh, they're just going to take one, because the Cougars, their mindset, we're taking 2, if not more.
First RBI of the year for Tristan Turlington. And now the Cougs a chance to keep it going. Maddie Udall-Woolley. She's taking first pitch. She is one of the returners. We've seen Maddie Udall on this field just a couple of years ago, but things changed last summer. She got married to Adam and is now Maddie Udall-Woolley. Congratulations to them both. And doesn't matter what the last name change is, she's going to hit here in Mexico regardless. Back-to-back RBI. Udall-Woolley has her 3rd of the season. And here comes this BYU offense again.
It is all about that power. This one low and away, but the way she stayed in those legs, the way her chest and her posture stayed down on that ball allowed that one to be ripped through that 3-4 hole. The Cougs, they came out not only swinging hard, but with an adjustment.
3 hits in the frame around the Reed strikeout. Big opportunity in a tough spot, and that's rising to the occasion right there by Honta.
All about that first step drop. That is massive, not only for momentum, but just letting your pitcher know, I got you. Look how deep she has to go. This is a slow pitch infield. That dirt line is extended very far back, another 15, 20 feet. So being able to range that far back, she's in mid outfield by that point.
Bayani watching ball 1. That's lifted with strength. 2 hops into the fence. Udawoli will score easily. BYU's doing their thing again in Puerto Vallarta as Agbayani stands at third.
And this is a no mercy mindset. Whenever you're a runner at first and you see that ball deep in the gap, you are thinking, go, go, go. But Agbayani, as the base runner, as somebody who's coming around, you can hear that team just respond. This is the team that's going to take an extra base. So if you're North Dakota State, you need to start thinking ahead. Wherever you think they're going to be, look 60 feet ahead.
Morrow loops it over. Honta cleans it up, but not before BYU drops a bomb. 3 runs on 4 hits, highlighted by 2 extra base hits. Turlington's 2-bagger and Agbayani's 3 has BYU rolling in this very first game of Session 2. For Daly in this defense.
So what you always want to see whenever you're a pitcher is just a little bit of backup from your offense. Gives you a sigh of relief. Take some of that pressure.
Got a look at Darren Mueller. 24 years, the head man for North Dakota State. Recently picked up win number 750. That's going to be something we'll see throughout this second session. A lot of really veteran head coaches. Coach Stanton for Indiana just picking up win number 800 over the course of her career. Yeah, they'll send it straight back. We have great pitchers, hitters, defenders. Why not have some great coaches in the second session as well? Did certainly in the first to top it all off. Everything is elite here in PV Mexico. Who gets that one in on the hands and fights it off.
It's the second pitch to that bat that she has gone not only inside, but like you said, Corey, just tight in on the hands, being able to go and attack these hitters. I have to respect that, or I have to adjust to that if I'm a hitter. Respect it, back off the plate, expect it, look for that inside pitch. Either way, you're giving up just a little bit as a hitter.
She'll run it full. The freshman already picking up starts in 3 of 4 for NDSU. And she works the walk. That's exactly what you want out of the 9th spot. Set the table for the table setters.
We've seen just little by little, but a couple more 2-0 starts here from these North Dakota State batters. They've been able to be patient.
Cortez chops it to Morrow. Turlington doesn't have a play at first, so the fielder's choice. But both times that Daly's issued a walk, she's come right back to get an out.
It's a nice play here, just fielding it on the hop, not trying to do too much, charge too hard, but getting the lead out as quick as possible. That's important. And Dally, like you said, being able to get that out immediately after a walk, but at some point, walks do come back to hurt you. If you're North Dakota State, you want to take advantage.
Anta, try and make that pain come a little sooner. She goes 5-6, 2 base runners on for the Bison.
This one staying low and away. You could see a little bit of shift there from the defense. Morrow, she was more up the middle. Just looks like she was anticipating covering second, so that leaves a wide open 5-6 hole.
Can Belladine do? She's got hits in the last couple, off to a great start, including her first home run of the year against Fordham. Finally feeling healthy. And sometimes that is where it starts and ends for a player having a great year.
There's something to be said for those athletes that are coming back from injury, how hungry it makes you. You are dying to get back on the field, dying to be in the box, dying to be on the mound. So whenever that does come, that moment does happen, you're all in.
But it's right back to Dally. So Dean's bid denied, relatively productive. It'll be up to Usain.
It's a great snag here and a lot of communication telling her to go on. I would have loved to see going for that lead runner, but as long as you get the out, as long as you are effective with your pitches, you should be able to get out of trouble here. But North Dakota State, runner on third, that free base again, knocking on the door.
Usain hits it hard into center. Owens camps under it though and makes the grab. Dally out of danger. Bison cannot capitalize this third inning, belonging to BYU in a big way. And now their offense going to come right back to bear in the bottom half. Owens gets going quick and drives it into left center. So BYU picks up right where they left off.
That's exactly what you want to see, is going out, attacking, being able to carry that confidence that you got from your first at-bat, knowing they're probably going to pitch you the opposite and continuing that momentum right where you left off.
The day for Lily Owens so far, a triple and a single. Brittingham, first pitch, hit hard. King wants the lead, got it. And that's where it comes to a conclusion. So Elo reaches base. Let's take a look at this.
And first reaction, go tag first, but that was a nice job by King, hearing her defense talk to her, yelling at her, hey, let's get this lead out, go two, go two, go two. Because you do not want that speed from Owens to be on second base, a golden bag with a lot of the power in this lineup for BYU coming up.
Catcher number 30, Lindy Milkowski.
So Lindy Milkowski, who got the second inning started with a single, and she would eventually come around to score. Now with 1 out, 1 on. Swinging first pitch, perfectly placed down the line. A little bobble. Brittingham just goes station to station, though. Milkowski, a 2-hit debut in PV.
And again, going back to that just previous play of you have a runner on second, especially with speed like Owens. As a runner, whenever you see it, not just roll down the line, but slowly, you are going home. North Dakota State saving themselves a run. Not out of danger yet, but preventing it.
Oku, big hack.
Third baseman number 6, Emoku.
Kayla, part of this rematch, Ole Miss versus NDSU right here in Puerto Vallarta. She lifts this one to center. Star Cortez under it. No harm done. That was the game, Nicole, where we had a dog delay last time when it was the Bison and the Rebels.
I do love a good dog delay. This one, no delay, no base runners advancing. Just good, clean softball, but I won't lie, I wouldn't mind seeing another dog on the field.
I gotta think that's exactly what some of the players are wondering. Wait a minute, where's the dog? Used to have the dog, where'd it go? Last year it turned into an iguana. Went from a dog to a reptile.
Yeah, that was the most interesting thing I think I've ever seen on a field.
You never know what you will find in this tremendous tournament. Great softball is a given. Everything after that, we find out together. Turlington working ahead.
This battery working very well together, just being able to trust wherever I throw it, in the dirt, up in the air, my catcher, she has my back.
Making it all the more impressive, said catcher is a freshman, but tremendous pedigree. Caught about 3/4 of the runners that tried to steal on her in high school. Has developed that immediate rapport with the veteran pitcher, Piper Reed.
Reed made her want it. I think that's even half a ball closer towards the plate. She gets that swing and miss. Good layoff there by Turlington.
First full count today for Piper Reed. And so her opening payoff has too much dip on it. The bases are full for BYU.
Now batting, first base, 34, Maddie Udall-Woolley.
A lot of patience, loading up the bases, but you saw what Woolley did last at bat. Just a lot of confidence. You can see it whenever she steps up. You can see it in her eyes. You can see it in her movements.
She lifts to Claus, who makes the grab. So a little 2-out magic in the second came on the Agbayani triple. This time, Reed slams the door. BYU threatens as much as you can without pushing one across. They're still up by 3.
Leading it off for North Dakota State. First base.
I feel like for the most part, these pitchers, they have been working effectively. Even if they do get behind in the count, they're quick to bounce back. They're quick to throw strikes. Try to get these hitters to bite at something.
Dowie's conceded just 1 hit so far. That was Tahanta back in the 3rd. catches.
Nice frame behind the plate. Gave a nod last inning to that battery combo. Have to give a nod this inning to BYU. Having a catcher working behind the plate for you makes all the difference.
2 new catchers to their program. We talked about Dakota, the freshman. This is Milkowski, the transfer from Eastern Illinois. Missed last year due to injury. Gets healthy. While she does so, comes into the portal. Finds her way to Provo, Utah. The hit. The dive. Morrow in time. That is why she's moved to shortstop.
And you can see it in her face. She is fired up. This one, just a nice snag. This dirt, a little bouncy. So being able, as you're diving midway, to adjust your glove, grab that ball, but big smiles all around. Morrow fired up.
Boy, that's a storybook turn right there. 2 errors in the first inning. Grows up right in front of us. Coach Eakin has a huge smile on his face because he knew the caliber of athlete that Morrow was when he moved her to catcher, now doing so again at short. And she proved every bit of that faith correct on a web gem. Torre watching up top. Speaking of the catcher, here she is.
Do have to say, I love the pink glove, the pink call card, the pink bow. I'm a pink girly. So whenever I see somebody adding a little bit of sparkle to their uniform,
absolutely.
Come on. That is just
anywhere you can, right?
Calling my name.
It's the softball fashion has grown exponentially these last few years. Whether it be on social or probably more directly, the uniform game in the sport of softball has never been better across our sport.
I do love some icy uniforms, the all white BYU, pop of color with the pink. North Dakota State showing off that green.
Payoff pitch sent foul. It's the alternate uniforms that I'm a huge fan of. Sky blue is not necessarily in in Tennessee's wheelhouse, but they've got a tremendous one that honors Pat Summitt and the Lady Vol legacy. And that's where, once you get into teams willing to experiment a little bit, that's when the uniform game is at its best, in my opinion.
End of the year, Corey, you and I will have to get together and say, okay, who had the best uniform game out of all the teams this year?
Done and done. Payoff pitch this time to the grass. De La Torre's first hit for time here in PV.
That's 2 back-to-back hard hits. The first one, diving play. This one up the middle, not able to get hit anywhere. Hearing North Dakota State, their team just getting up a little bit more in the dugout. I'm feeling their energy. I'm feeling their presence a little bit more here in the fourth. We're about halfway through the game. We have to create some momentum. That is the mindset. That's the urgency that this team is feeling.
This NDSU team has 2 seniors on it. One of them hits now in Chloe Waldroff. Very much taking that leadership mantle for the Bison.
You're starting to see just more confident swings from North Dakota State. They're almost 2 times through the lineup. You're familiar with what's coming your way. It's adjustments. Those hitters first time through, the second time through, you're starting to see those adjustments.
I'll throw down to first. Sails all the way away, but no advance to be had for De La Torre. Yeah, Chloe was here last time against BYU. She knows firsthand how potent these bats can be. Cougars pulled away late in that game. Woodruff and NDSU, they do their best to make sure that doesn't happen here in the fourth. Sends it up the middle, slow roll. Turlington managed to get it over there. Taps her chest, says, my bad, but Morrow makes another nice play to clean up.
This one, not your usual toss up the middle. This one almost booted by the foot. That was a great job by Morrow, just not panicking, not trying to scramble around, but just staying calm, grabbing that ball, getting that out at second. I think that's what the question is. Did she have full possession of that ball before that runner slid in? And as we just saw in that replay, yes, Morrow was able to grab that ball, have it fully in her possession.
A messy assist in the sense of not how you draw it up and also utilizing the golden boot of Lionel Messi's style. A kick save and a butte, and it goes down as out number 2. Claus cranks to right with pace. Ella Claus gave that one an absolute ride, but it had a little too much hook on it. That's a bad beat for the Bison.
After a big swing like that, especially on the first pitch of an at-bat, resetting as a hitter, knowing she's probably not going to come back to that pitch. Where am I looking now? Where is my focus now?
It was down as a wake-up call, if nothing else, for Daly. But she comes right back with a strike. There you go. Loud foul ball. Puts Daly in the right state of mind. She closes it with a K. Exact same way she ends the second, she ends the fourth. That's 2. BYU wants to grow the 3-run lead. Favorite teams, tracks, series, and more. To easily access the content you're looking for every time you open our beautifully redesigned TV app. Download the Flow Sports TV app today. Available on all major app stores.
Jalen Lambert leading it off.
Lambert, hard hit right to Woodruff. Well played at the hot corner.
You could hear the reaction from the crowd. This one, an absolute shot. Especially whenever you're, as a defender, halfway up that line. You have to be quick with your hands. That was a nice job making that play by Woodruff, but then also getting that over there in a hurry because there was a lot of speed heading over to first.
Bayani right back in for BYU. Loudest hit of the day belongs to number 7, her second inning triple. Leia's just had so much momentum. Started the final 15 games last year for BYU because she was swinging a hot stick. Carries it over here into 2025. Great start in La Jolla, and now even more so here in Puerto Vallarta.
think there's something about the sun, the field, the beach. I don't know what it is, but we have seen a lot of triples over these past 2 weeks.
Bayani's used to it. Grew up in Hawaii, then went to Cal. So accustomed to playing in the sunshine. And so far, her season beginning in Southern California, the San Diego area, and here in Puerto Vallarta. Weather-wise, you're not going to do much better than those two places. And she's keeping the good going, but it's a laser to Dean.
You talk about going through the lineup several times. This is now the third time through the lineup for BYU, and you can see it. 2 hard hits, 2 outs, which is important to note, but 2 hard hits back to back. If you're North Dakota State and Piper Reed, you're going to want to sharpen up those pitches, get them a little bit farther, give this BYU team a different look. And I love that pitch from her just then. Just taking some speed off, allowing that rhythm that the hitters have created to be off just a bit. A few miles an hour, and you got him.
Mark the 3rd time through the order. And it will be the best start through for the first time today. Piper Reed will face the minimum. 9-1-2, all that's brought to bear. Bison pitching and defense, finding its rhythm. Now they got to try and erase this 3-run deficit. Right now, all the scoring action coming early in one frame. BYU scores 3 runs. That is the extent of the damage right now. So NDSU starts it out here in the top of the 5th. They will begin their 3rd time through the order right after BYU did. The exact same setup, 9-1-2, coming up here for North Dakota State.
Alluded to a little bit of Piper Reed last half inning, just needing to make adjustments as these hitters make adjustments. It's that time in the game, but also same thing for BYU. These North Dakota State hitters had some solid hits, had some hard hits.
Dalley's career high in innings pitched is 5. If she completes this inning, that would tie it. She'd be early on, 3rd time through. How much longer does this BYU coaching staff want to let her go? She's been effective, though. And very quickly has 2 strikes again.
And I like the idea of still maintaining your strongest pitch, so drop ball lower in the zone, but I would love to see the incorporation of more pitches that are tight in on the hands, making these hitters feel like they're being sped up by that inside pitch and then slowed down by that drop ball.
A little screwing action, but Nieto didn't oblige it. Went around, throw, off the bag. So chalk it up as a strikeout and a base runner. Nieto on for the 2nd time.
A little bit of confusion there. I didn't see a swing on that, nor did I see a sign from the umpire, but sometimes you don't want to leave it up to the umpire. This one is actually would have been an out, but pulling off the back just a little early. Woolley. North Dakota State, they have gotten base runners on every single inning.
A half swing, looping and perfectly placed. Can't do it any better than that. Star Cortez, her first of the day.
just a choke and poke. I mean, this is literally in no man's land. No one was around that ball. Flair will always work. That is the one rule that is so solid in softball. That and your hairstyle dictates how you hit. I don't know why, but I don't make the rules.
Look good, feel good. A universal constant. And again to that half swing. Turn to second. The risky play. There is no play.
This one, I think it's a wind-up that takes so long. And you can see, like you said, Corey, she was running on that pitch, so having that head start, having that aggressive, not having to stop, see where the ball is, and then restart that motion towards second, that is what got her there to second. Like you said, just being able to push the game, push the limits, that is putting it in favor for North Dakota State.
Best opportunity of the day by far for the Bison. Anto swinging first pitch, sending it straight back. Darren Mueller knows it now. His squad needing to capitalize. Pop throw down, not in time.
Last inning, Corey, you and I talked about just the momentum urgency of, okay, this game is starting to get a little bit towards that end and we haven't scored. I'm feeling that again from North Dakota State, just having that urgency now instead of pushing it off till the 6th or 7th inning.
Bunt laid down, challenging Daly. The sacrifice honored, though. That's doing the job. 2 in prime position now for the Bison.
And I had been waiting for a bunch. A great job making sure that you're going to Daly and making her make the play at first. Shifting those runners an additional 60 feet. That is the first time that we have had a runner this close with this much momentum for North Dakota State.
So here's Belladine watching one up top. That's slow rolled. Morrow across the diamond. Productive. In fact, in dream fashion for BYU.
We're seeing a very different Haley Morrow. Her first ground ball that she got from Belladine was an error. This one, nice and easy, quick look back, getting it over to first without any hesitation, freezing both of those runners. Settling in nicely. Sometimes you just got to shake off the pregame jitters.
Lifted straight up, out of play. So to recap the inning, it's a little confusing with a late call change. Nieto got the single down the right field line. Star Cortez reaches on the fielder's choice. Anto lays down the bunt and sets up Dean, who's down swinging. And this time, it does close the frame. Daly. Kate Daly, one of the best save artists in the Big 12, answers the bell with the best Bison threat. Go.
BYU doing just a great job of shutting down momentum. North Dakota State, though, for the first time all game, had a 1-2-3 inning this past inning.
That is hit well, and no issue. Nieto makes the grab and left.
Designated player number 8.
Just aggressive power. We've seen what Lily Owens can do. She got on base both at-bats prior, retired for the first time, but getting those outs early, getting back into the dugout and giving themselves an opportunity to score. That's the most momentum that I felt from North Dakota State this game offensively, that last half inning. If you can continue to shut down this BYU offense, you give yourself a little bit more confidence, a little bit more momentum, a little bit more time to go on and get those runs. This is a very good North Dakota State team, and Piper Reed has been doing an excellent job.
The Bison riding the momentum of getting their first run of the game. Productive outs throughout for NDSU. Ground ball capitalized, make it 3-1. Is that the thing that sparks a Coug counterpunch? Not if Piper Reed has anything to say about it. Low, just out of the reach of Dean. Well placed by the talented freshman. She's at first.
Just keeping that barrel level nice and high. You saw those hands staying at the top of the zone all the way through the swing. Not trying to lift. I think that's where hitters sometimes fall into trouble with that elevated pitch. Is you see it, you get excited, you're like, yes, this is the one, right? And you want to go after that. And you get a little bit too much under it. You get a little bit too much lift with your hands. I say nice and level, just having a hard hit through the infield.
Miranda Mansfield will come in and run for BYU.
22, Miranda Mansfield.
And the Cougs turn to the catcher, Milkowski. Milkowski hammers into left. Back-to-back base knocks. Throw down to third. In time! Nieto puts one on a frozen rope and erases the pinch runner Mansfield.
Like you said, we talked about being able to anticipate as a defense what BYU is able to do, and knowing as soon as that ball is down, they are going to be trying for that extra 50. And I mean, that throw is as perfect can get. Just great accuracy, great tag. That's exactly what you want to see.
And a phenomenal tag to finish it off by Woldruff. Kamoku sends it right up a chute. Dean calls and holds. And just like that, an inning that had some promise comes to an end. The Bison finding ways to keep in one place. So Villegas, about as good as you can get to start. ERA 1.10. She's 1-0. In her 6 1/3, she struck out 6 while walking just 1. This her third appearance.
Not too shabby to start off the year. That's exactly the way that you want to start off your year, but also that's the pitcher that you want to call whenever you are having a tight game and there is that momentum that North Dakota State has generated. They've been able to accumulate over the past few innings. You want somebody who's going to come in and shut them down.
Before she even set foot on campus in Provo, Gordon Eakin calling her one of the top pitchers in the country. She was the tournament MVP for one of the best travel ball teams. This is a pitcher with some pedigree. Jada's shown it right away to begin her collegiate career.
Nice little barehanded catch over there. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Got to be ready, no matter what. The ball will find you. It certainly did early for Haley Morrow. She answered the bell. Now everybody watching on at Nancy Almaraz Stadium ready to make a nice play. It's the order of the day. Knocked down, Morrow gets it there in time. That left side of the infield is brand new for BYU. Mocha moving to third. They're both looking comfy.
This one just knocked down and bobbled slightly, but again, the presence of mind to stay calm. We've seen both sides of that side of the field, both athletes have that bobble, have that moment of calm, clarity. Just go ahead, get the out. Just make sure we're staying in the moment, not trying to rush.
Tori watches ball one. By the way, for Dally, it is 5 innings pitched to tie her career high. Also currently in line for the win. Chopped up, Villegas got a piece, and it's out of the reach of Turlington. Base knock for Jess De La Torre.
There's that momentum piece that we talked about. North Dakota State, they've been able to make those adjustments and being able to make the adjustment on the fly. New pitcher, new inning, and your game plan has to shift just a little bit. Your mindset as an athlete, what you're searching for, has to change slightly, but being able to make it that fast and carrying that momentum over, that's going to give you those hits that are hard enough to deflect off of the athletes club. Having to be able to move around and get that hard hit, get those base runners on.
First multi-hit day for the freshman catcher.
Now batting 23, third base, Chloe Waldrop.
Sets Chloe Waldrop up. 1 down, 1 on. Waldrop lifts it right up a chute, though. Morrow makes the play.
Seen Morrow settle into her role here at short pretty quickly after that first inning. And ever since, any ball that's headed her way, she's been able to handle, and pretty easy one right there.
Another first pitch strike. Ella Claus said to work from behind today. She got Dally's best. Now Villegas. Claus, hard liner. Kamoku slams the door. Boy, don't tell these Cougar infielders they're playing new positions. Lockdown defense across the dirt for BYU. They hold the 2-run lead. They're off to the insurance market in the bottom half. Well, BYU all of a sudden brings us to the decisive part of the ball game. Piper Reed thinking of potentially going the distance, and why not? She's been effective. It was one blip inning where she conceded 3. Other than that, nothing. Just a few over the minimum. She'll go against the bottom part of the order. Turlington, Udawole, and Lambert scheduled to hit here for BYU.
Leading it off for the Cougars, 28. Second base, Kristen Turlington.
It's been 3 innings since BYU has been allowed to score. This North Dakota State defense stepping it up.
Well, until then, not their fault. That ball's in an impossible spot. How about the day for Tristan Turlington? A single, a double, and a walk.
Just seeing the ball well, being patient as a hitter allows you your next at bat going, I know I got walked last time. I know this pitcher is going to want to come after me. Look for something to hit early in the count. Or you hit something early in the count, next at bat. Let me be a little bit more patient. I want her to have to come to me.
Udawole lays down the bunt, forces the cover and sacrifice honored. King to Dean. Another 60 for Turlington.
I think it's obvious right here. BYU, they want to score another run. They want to move that runner, and sometimes getting a bunt down sounds like the easiest thing, but in those moments, especially a sack bunt, whenever everyone can see it early, especially the pitcher, getting that down isn't always the easiest thing. So kudos to BYU for getting those runners over.
And the decision by Coach Eakin works perfectly. Jalen Lambert dropped it down into the grass. BYU cooking with a little gas.
This one, just a hard slap. One of those that rise the farther they get. But this is a great choice, I think. You know the power, you know the accuracy and the arm out in left field for North Dakota State. And if you're a base runner for the Cougars, holding up and knowing, okay, maybe this isn't the best time to be aggressive. She's proven herself. She's gotten some big outs. The last place you want to be thrown out as a runner is at third base.
Saw that hesitation. Turlington wasn't sure if there was going to be a catch there. So she holds up. And this being the beginning of the 4th time through, this is a hard and fast rule for a lot of coaches in the sport. It will be for Darren Mueller here. Piper Reed will step aside, 5 1/3. Just the 3 runs allowed in the 1 frame. Both runners are her responsibility. Pitching change for North Dakota State. Caitlin Dunford, the sophomore, warms up at Nancy Almaraz Stadium. And so Caitlin Dunford, who had her first career save in her first appearance this year, will once again make a late game entrance, but this time in a very different circumstance. The clutch gene required is the same. She has to prevent the 2 base runners and get 2 outs first before BYU gets their insurance.
Your job as a relief pitcher whenever you come in is to let your defense work, and North Dakota State's defense has been working very well. As I just mentioned, the past few innings, feeling free, attacking the zone, and letting that defense work. That is all you should be focusing on as a pitcher.
Bayani re-entering the game, coming in for Flanders, who is the defensive replacement. If Bayani gets her second hit, BYU may very well have their added margin.
That one just floated in there. That's something that we haven't seen too often these past few innings from Piper Reed is that off speed, especially one floaty.
Dunford just missing that one down low. Certainly a different type of pitcher on the preseason Summit League watch list. It's honorable mention in the league a year ago. Bayani steers it to left. Nieto awaits.
Talked about different tempo. You could see as she goes to swing, she sinks into that back leg, sends that ball for a right. It's not enough. Great placement, great setup out there in the outfield for North Dakota State, but being able to get into that and totally get all of the rotation from her hips. And that's the adjustment that BYU is going to have to make with, you have Dunford, who has been tossing those off speeds left and right. That just slow pitch makes you go so far out in front.
Bunt flash, pop throw down to third. And good preventative defense by the catcher, De La Torre. Dunford gets the swing and the miss. A late game relief specialist breaking out in front of our eyes. A save nailed down already. And now Caitlin Dunford comes in with 2 runners on and does not give them a single foot. We go to the decisive 7th. Bison need 2. 1 game, get some good softball in, and then some high quality ocean time right after.
Not a bad day. Get that game done nice and early. Speaking of early, we have an early start tomorrow. A lot of softball this weekend. We have seen pretty good, not just pitcher's duel, but defensive duel here today to start off Puerto Vallarta session 2.
10 a.m. Central Time. Scott Sudikoff will join our team. Nicole will keep hanging out. And we'll see FIU lead it off against Boise State. Conference USA in the Mountain West making their Session 2 debuts. We saw La Tech represent CUSA in Session 1. And 1 to Nieto. Right through, they 1 and 2.
For North Dakota State, this is a part of the lineup that you want to be in when the game's on the line. Top of the 7th, you have your hitters who are most likely to get on base and score.
And that's why you go to the pinch hitter. That was Taylon Warren, who just came into the game and drops it down exactly where it needs to be. Bison have the beginning of the comeback.
This one just a poke, not letting that barrel, especially whenever you're slapping, it's so easy to let those wrists break and that barrel just completely collapse. But letting that barrel stay strong all the way through contact, that's what gets it over the infield. That's what gets her on base. And North Dakota State, a base runner yet again.
To your point, there has been no 1-2-3 inning. Nieto is going to re-enter the game and head to first base. Lineup flips for Cortez and the Bison. And Villegas just trying to slam the door. It looks like she may step aside. That is indeed the case.
And I think this goes back to what Coach talked about, to to you and I, Corey, about having a staff, about switching things up. Who's the best matchup for what style, for what part of the lineup, for what situation? BYU, they've said it. They're going all in.
And so they turn to their ace. Perhaps an indication that we'll see her start the game against Illinois State tomorrow right here on Flow College. Kason Korth looks to nail down the save. It would be her first and send BYU to 1-0. Reminder, your college sports have a home on Flow College. Watch more than 12,000 college sporting events from 100 schools and 12 different conferences only on Flow College. At a Flow College today to see everything now. Kason Korth, the numbers are beyond sterling in the history of BYU softball.
Now batting. Center fielder number 1, Star Cortez.
BYU 3 outs away from securing their first win here in Puerto Vallarta, and North Dakota State. And they're at first. They've been knocking.
Pop throw down. Milkowski trying to erase. Nieto right back in time. Cortez quickly 0-2.
Just setting that tone early. It doesn't matter whether you come in relief in the middle of the game or at the very end. Coming in, throwing strikes, getting ahead, letting your defense work, but really knowing what your game plan is and sticking to it, attacking it, that is big for a pitcher.
Cortez 0 for 3 today, though she's been standing at first each time. 2 fielders' choices and getting on via error. Chopped up. Kamoku couldn't bring it in. The Bison have a lifeline now. The tying run will come to the plate.
This one not hit too hard, but just a slight bobble. You could see that ball roll up the arm. That is what you are looking for, taking advantage of every opportunity if you're North Dakota State here in the 7th. Whatever way, I will take it. Just get me on base. Let's pass the bat one hitter to the next.
Cortez, the definition of put it in play. Good things happen. Bunt laid down. Kamoku charges. Sacrifice is honored. But most importantly for the Bison, now it's 2 in scoring position in a 2-run game.
This one, a nice makeup, and I have to say, that is a great grab by Udall Woolley. Being able to hang on to that and avoid a collision.
NDSU sets it up for their leader in hits, bases, doubles, home runs a year ago. Belladine, the chance to tie the game with 2 in prime position. Dean lifts to center. Owens retreats and makes the play. It is still 2 productive outs for Dean. A ground out brings one in, and now a sac fly makes this a 1-run game.
And that is doing your job, and again, passing the bat to your teammates. Bella Dean, she has been on the hunt, and this one slightly elevated, left over the middle of the plate. That is what you are hunting. That is what you are begging for as a hitter in this type of situation. If I can't get that ball over the fence, I want to get it deep enough that I can score that run and move my runners.
No more productive outs are possible. It must be a base knock. or BYU wins the game, or at least an extension on a pass. Jasmine Yasayan was third on this team in RBI as a true freshman a year ago. Does she have one left? She's got some leverage. Three and oh.
This momentum, this energy, completely now it's been building inning after inning for North Dakota State, but completely squarely inside their dugout.
Sign taking the whole way. She's not happy about it. Zoe King, the one on deck. This part of the order is a combined 0 of 9 on the game in 3-4-5. But a chance to turn that around in the biggest possible way. Best hitters count. Yasayan works the walk. Bison at the corners.
Now batting first base, 11, Zoe King.
Passing the bat, one hitter at a time. It doesn't matter if you get on with a walk or you get on with an error, a hit, whatever it is. If you are on North Dakota State right now, the message is the same. Pass the bat, make this pitcher work for it. Momentum's all in your corner.
Zoe King taking the entire way on the first pitch. She has a hit in 4 straight for the Bison. Does not today.
If you're done for as easy as it is to get tight in this moment, remembering who you are, what your pitches are, your strength, and attacking the hitter that way. See a little bit tightness from her.
Puerto will take a moment and reset. It is just an unearned run on the line so far, but it has this a 1-run game. Port's 2-1 becomes 3-1. Back-to-back 3-1 counts. Yasayan worked the walk. This exact same pitch, the 5th. King, hoping for that same outcome, runs it full. High drama in the first game. One more ball, we play on. One more strike, game over. Court's payoff. Chopped up high to her. Kaysen Court throws over. She nails down her first save of the campaign, and BYU holds on. They pick up the opening day win in Puerto, Vallarta, Mexico. It is all in 1 inning for BYU. They scored 3 runs in the second, and it would be just enough. Alea Agbayani's triple serves as the game winner. And the Cougs are 4-0 to start 2025.